This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Well, folks, the Knicks did it again, ladies and gentlemen. They blew a 17-point lead. 4 minutes and 40-something seconds left to go in the third quarter. The Knicks are up by 17, and Joe Ingles knocks down a three and starts a run for the Milwaukee Bucks, ladies and gentlemen. And the Knicks built back an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter, but were not able to pull out another tight game versus the Milwaukee Bucks. This one, I think, stings a little bit more because the Knicks had a 17-point lead. Time and time again, folks, the Knicks are in position to win and to win against quality teams. And they can't pull it out. They cannot pull it out. The question has to be why? What is the issue? Why can the Knicks not pull out these games? Why do we continue to have the same issues over and over again? Tony Crow, what's popping with you, my brother? How you feeling, man?
Peace, Sim. Shout out to you. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. Well, I mean, the one consistent thing that comes to my mind as far as us not being able to close out games is also not hitting free throws. Now, that didn't directly, you know what I mean? It wasn't like at the line at the end. I mean, maybe the Randall miss, but even that miss starts to put that doubt in your head. You know what I mean? Can we finish this off? Because I think that would have tied it or put us to within one.
Well, no, he missed one, and then the second one tied it.
Made the second one.
Yeah, the second one tied
and the second one tied it. So, you know what I mean? And at that point, we were going back and forth. Lose the lead, get the lead. Lose the lead, get the lead.
So I would
Whether
say timely
2
free
or
throws.
3, whatever we needed to get that lead back, we did it until that point.
Right. I would say timely free throws because they were 20 for 22 from the free throw line tonight, but timely free throws, making them when you need it. You know what I mean? I mean, timely, everything is always going to be key, but.
Well, that's why I said it wasn't like directly, like, you know what I mean? Like we didn't miss them all game, but still that one right there changed the momentum. We stopped doing the back and forth thing, and now it was catch up from that point on.
Yeah. You know, it's man, I don't know what it is. You know, I can't say that they stopped doing the little things because they're still battling. They're still, you know, I mean, obviously there's going to be missed defensive assignments. Even when you're up 17 or 23 or whatever you're up, you miss defensive assignments when you're up too. It's covered up because you're up by so many points and nobody looks at it when you miss it then. When you miss it when the team is coming back or when it's in crunch time, obviously, you know, there's more light on it. But, you know, the Knicks gotta find answers to being able to hold leads. They gotta find an answer to it. Hold the lead. You know, they gotta figure it out. And it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is. You know, you can look at the trend of a game, and although a team is, you know, up 17, you might look and say, yeah, but the bench ain't scoring, or, you know, there's only a couple guys scoring. Can you withstand it? But if you're up 17, and even if your bench ain't scoring, and this guy and that guy ain't scoring, but you're up 17, that means the other team is not doing something right too. And you got to be able, I mean, that gives you a 17-point cushion. Or, and I keep saying 17 because, I just point to that 17-point lead in the third quarter with 4 minutes left, when the run starts. You know what I mean? I don't know. Knicks 11-point lead at half. Jalen Brunson, a huge night, 20 points at half, 44 points on the night. Big night for Jalen Brunson. I think that's his career high, right? And the Knicks can't pull it out. They're getting closer and closer with the Bucks. I'll say that. They're getting closer. Each game they've played has been, it's been closer, but this is one that they should have had. When you have a big lead, you can only point to yourself. You know what I mean? You can only point to yourself. And I'm speaking as a team, not individuals, but as a team. What else can you do? Go ahead, Tony.
Edwin in the chat, he said wasted Jalen Brunson's effort tonight. And that's been another trend. Guys, we've been wasting guys' efforts. I think RJ's career high we lost. You know what I mean? There's been a couple of games like that where somebody shines and we can't even really celebrate it because we don't got the victory.
Right.
But how do we fix it? That's the big question. How do we fix it? Or how do we identify exactly what the issue is?
Right.
Because if you're saying it's not free throws or it's not bench production,
it's like
all those things have to take a part in it.
It's like every time there's something different. Right? Tonight, I would point to bench production. 9 points from the bench. And you're not expecting the bench to do much anyway because you don't have anybody on the bench. Right? Obi Toppin returned, played 8 minutes, 3 points, 1 steal. Miles McBride gave you 3 points. Evan Fournier gave you 3 points. None of those guys cracked 15 minutes. Isaiah Hartenstein gave you 4 rebounds.
In one possession and didn't score.
Right. It's I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint what just one thing. You can say, "Oh, they stopped playing." I don't think they stopped playing. I think they're still playing hard. But the Knicks are a team that's inconsistent, right? And they'll go through spells where they can't score. Even though they might average, whatever points, they go through spells where they can't score. They go through spells where they can't hit threes. The Knicks 26.8% from the three-point line tonight. And when you're playing against good teams, you play against bad teams, you can withstand those bad spells. You play against good teams, you're not going to withstand the bad spells. And obviously they didn't tonight. And then, teams are looking at the Knicks' track record. And when they get down big, or if they get down by the Knicks, get down big by the Knicks, you know what they say in the huddle? This team will let you back in. They'll let you back in. Just keep playing. They're going to start missing shots. They'll let you back in. They're going to make some, they're going to miss some defensive assignments. Just keep hooping. And that's what they do.
Or, if they real gritty, they like, once we get to a certain point, we got him. You know what I mean? We cut it to 5, we got him. They, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know how to handle the pressure. They're going to crack. And builds confidence.
Hopefully, and it's hard to hear this when you're going through a loss, but hopefully, like the Knicks, hopefully this is, you hear people say this team is battle tested. Not talking about the Knicks, but in general, when speaking of like a veteran team, they say, oh, that team is battle tested. That team is grizzled. What does that mean? That means that they've been through these type of moments. They've been through stretches where they keep letting teams get back in the game. They've been through tight games, lost some, won some, right? They've had a 9-point lead with 33 seconds and lost it, right? This makes you battle tested. It's tough when you go through it, but hopefully somewhere down the line, and hopefully it's this year, but if it's not this year, somewhere down the line, you look and say, this team's been through everything together. Believe it or not, these type of moments, if you have a strong team with strong leadership, they help to build the character of the team. But because a good team, and hopefully the Knicks are a good team is going to say, what is wrong? Like we're asking, what is wrong and how do we fix it? Only time will tell if this Knicks team can figure out what's wrong in these moments and how to fix it. You know what I mean? Only time will tell if that'll happen. But I'm hoping they figure it out quick. I'm tired of seeing the Knicks being in position to win and can't finish the job. You know what I mean? And then what happens, the blame game goes around. And I don't know if this, I seen someone say Tibbs and Randall. Like, how do you point to just that? You know what I mean? How do you point to just that?
And as bad as Randall was shooting the ball, he had a great game rebounding the ball, and his defense was, I could say, superb, to be honest. Like his defense was spot on tonight.
Yeah. And while, he didn't shoot the ball well, neither did Giannis. He didn't shoot the ball well tonight either. You know what I'm saying? Other guys had to score. Other guys had to do things. Jalen Brunson stepped up. Emmanuel Quickley had a good scoring night. The Knicks didn't get much else. The Knicks, after Emmanuel Quickley's 23, the next highest for the Knicks is Quentin Grimes with 4.
And I don't think we've earned the respect of the refs yet. I don't think they believe yet because, there's a lot of missed calls. I'll say that. They let them play a lot.
Yeah, it was a physical battle. We talked about that in the game preview, that this could be a physical game, a tough 90s style basketball game, because neither team had been shooting well against one another, not from the field, not from the three-point line. They've been defensive battles, and tonight was another one. Let me get to a phone call real quick. Caller, you're live, man. Maybe Tell us, how do the Knicks fix this? Yes, sir. I'm talking to you, my brother.
Hey, Sam, what's up? Happy New Year to you, your family, the channel, everybody.
Appreciate you, my brother. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm just going to say it. Listen, man. Tibbs is not the coach for this team no more. I'm looking at the game, and you keep asking why we keep losing leads, because the players are tired, man. They're tired. You got Cam Reddish on there, a walking basket. You got D Rose on there, a walking basket.
Really?
He does not want to play these players. And I'm just so sick and tired of him now. I'm tired. It's like, play the players.
I can understand, I can understand someone saying, you got Cam Reddish out there on the bench, right? But D Rose hasn't been getting it done when he's been in the game.
Fine. I give you that. But Cam, why isn't Cam not playing? The guy got skills.
I get it. I get it, but it's been like this. It's been like this for a little while. We've got it. Basically, for years, Cam Reddish ain't on the team. He's on the bench, but he's not on the team. We got to look at it that way. He's not going to play. Would Cam Reddish have changed it?
It's time for us to move on from the coach, man. I just think 8-man, 9-man rotation. I'm looking at the minutes. Randall's 42, 39, 38 minutes. Like you said, guys are on the bench not playing. Guys need to rest, come back in the game on and off. He's not playing the players, man. The guys are not playing. At what point? He's clearly not the coach for us no more.
My thing is, when I look at the bench, you got to exclude Cam Reddish, right? He's not playing. He's not playing, right? There's that, and you can say it stems from Tom Thibodeau. He decided that he's not part of the rotation, and from there, it probably goes to whatever kind of discussions they've had with his management and all that kind of stuff, right? But then you look, Miles McBride, Evan Fournier, Obi Toppin, Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, in the time that they got, 14 minutes, 3 points for Fournier, 3 points for Miles McBride. I mean, right now, these guys ain't getting it done.
We gotta come back slowly.
Right. Yeah. Right now, these guys they're not getting it done on the bench right now. The bench players aren't getting it done. So he's like, okay, well, let me put in guys that are getting it done. I mean, we need a bench upgrade. It's Cam Reddish could be an upgrade, but he's not going to play. Whatever the politics are behind that, he's not going to play. You know what I mean?
And I'm just going to say this last thing before I go, because I got the close. Just imagine if we really got the spot ahead with Brunson. Whew. Man, oh man, that would have been fun to watch, boy.
Ain't no lies about it. It would have, man. That would have been I mean, when you look at what Brunson is doing now, that would have been a scoring wise. That could have been a tough backcourt. I don't know what would happen defensively, but scoring wise,
I hope Grimes is worth it. I hope Grimes is worth it, man. I hope he's worth it. But
I hope so.
Anyway, Sim, have a good night. Thank you again for taking the call, man.
No doubt.
I'll see you around.
Appreciate your time, brother. Peace. I mean, it's tough. I understand what people are saying, Tony, but I mean, at this point, you just got to exclude Cam. You kind of got to exclude it because he's not playing and he's not going to put him out there. And then when you look at the rest of who you have, these guys aren't producing. So what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to keep a guy out there that's not producing if you need to score? Right, you keep a guy out there who's not producing for extended minutes. Right now, our bench players, the Knicks bench players, are basically there to give spot minutes to Randall and Brunson and so on and so forth. Now, we can't look over the fact that RJ Barrett's not there. And I'm not talking about because of the loss. I'm talking about the bench unit and bench production. That's it. You know what I mean? The Knicks have been winning without RJ Barrett. I'm simply talking about the bench production. So Emmanuel Quickley is now in that starting lineup. When RJ gets back, Emmanuel Quickley goes back to the bench. Hopefully now you have more production coming off the bench. You know what I mean? So now you can spread those minutes around a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because RJ's going to get his time. RJ can come in. RJ can play for Randall in spots. However, you know how the rotation is going to go. Randall come out, the end of the first quarter. Or, RJ will come out a little bit earlier in the first quarter. Randall will play almost the whole entire first quarter, right? And then RJ will come in at the top of the third to play with the bench unit. And then it'll be RJ and Quickley out there with the bench unit. And then, Obi Toppin, Hartenstein, Miles McBride. So then that definitely changes some things in the way the bench looks and how minutes are distributed. I don't know. I mean, I guess people can argue about the minutes right now, but if you're not playing Cam,
I think removing Cam from the equation, I think it's still a valid argument, but because I think I still agree with him, the distribution of the minutes with the rotation, what it is. I think it needs to be modified slightly. But even with that being said, I don't think it's I think it's all going to fix itself. For instance, Obi will get more minutes once he's back to like 100%, game speed, wind, and all that. So, and then RJ, like you said, RJ comes back quickly, helps that bench production. So that'll fix itself. Yeah. My question to you is, if you had to predict the next lineup change, and this is assuming Fournier now goes back to situational, what would you think it is?
The next lineup change, if there's another one, Hartenstein.
I agree.
Hartenstein.
For Sims.
For Sims. Yeah.
I agree.
Defense
I
is
agree.
bad.
And I think that might coincide with Obi. Whenever Obi is back, like back to where he was before he got hurt, I think that's what if Hartenstein hasn't, increased his production, I think I agree 100%.
Yeah. It's got to be Hartenstein, man. You know what I mean? Because everything that we thought maybe he might give us, it's not happening now. Some things people could say, well, Tom Thibodeau's not using them correct, on the offensive side. You know what I mean? And that he should be used kind of in a role like Joakim Noah was back in the day as a passer from the big man spot. That can be argued. But as far as spreading the floor and hitting threes, he's not giving you that. You know what I mean? Defensively, he's not good. He's not a good defender. So I would say if he's not going to spread the floor and give you threes, then it doesn't matter if you put Sims in the game or not. I mean, I'm saying it doesn't matter if you put Sims in because Hartenstein's not doing it. You might as well put in a guy that can bang around a little bit.
Yeah, you
play defense.
Know what you're getting consistently when you put Sims in. It may not be the same thing you asking for with Hartenstein, but you're getting defense. You're getting rebounds. You're getting effort. You're getting a lob threat, which is, still consistent with what you lose when Mike Robinson is out.
Yeah, I understand the argument about the bench and people playing. I'm just not sure if you play the bench more that it's going to change the fortune of the team. I just don't know. The only argument that I would say is, will guys get burned out later on? You know what I mean? But I'm not ready to say that if you played Miles McBride 6 more minutes, Evan Fournier 6 more minutes, the Knicks win this game. As a matter of fact, you play Evan Fournier a few more minutes, the Knicks might have lost by more. You know what I mean? Because he was leaving dudes open. Ingles was leaving Ingles open.
Or modify. I mean, I don't know how many minutes Fournier got, but maybe. I mean, that brings it back to the Cam thing. To be honest, I'm not trying to talk about Cam, but maybe you prioritize defense at that point as opposed, you know what I mean? So Grimes either gets more minutes or I don't know. You got to figure something out.
Yeah. Joel, thank you for chiming in, Joel. And I'm glad that you keep good notes. He says, Sims said before the season that Isaiah Hart was going to replace Mitch in the starting lineup. I didn't say he was going to. I said Mitch needs to watch his back because of what Hartenstein can bring to the game. I didn't say he was going to. I did say he could if, he does some things that Tom Thibodeau likes. Right? But, you know what? For all the people that said, whatever they said about Hartenstein, I mean, I guess I agree with you because I don't like his defense. You know what I mean? I thought he was gonna be able to knock down some shots. I thought he was going to, be on the high post, helping to facilitate and things like that. He's not doing any of those things. A little floater here and there, but he's not doing any of those things. You know what I mean? And so I thought Mitch should have watched his back. I was entirely wrong. And I'm glad I am because, I mean, I like Mitch. I remember back in the day, everybody said that I hated Mitch. I didn't like Mitch. I wanted Mitch off the team and this and that. I just wanted Mitch to, be better, and things. I don't have nothing against Mitch, but you're right. Isaiah Hartenstein, he's not getting it. He's not getting it. Get your phone call quick. Call you live, man. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Sam, what's up, man? Spree.
Spree, what's popping with you, brother?
I have a question for you about Grimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand we're using him as a catch and shoot guy and cutting, and he's great with the quick decisions where he made that little reverse layup. He just takes it and goes, or he can drop it off to Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this: do you think? I'm not saying to do it all the time. I understand the pick and rolls with Brunson and Randall and IQ. I get all that. But don't you think occasionally we can give Grimes a pick and roll or a dribble handoff or something? Just occasionally spice it in there a little bit, or is that not? Or you don't think that's a good idea?
No, I think you can. I think you can. You know what I mean? I also think though that, especially with maybe the type of team that we have, and I don't know because I'm not in the locker room, right? But and maybe just who Tom Thibodeau is too. And so maybe let me just say who Tom Thibodeau is and not with the team that we have. Let me say who Tom Thibodeau is. Tom Thibodeau seems to be someone who is like consistency is key in everything to Tom Thibodeau, it seems like. Right? So everything is about consistency. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that then boils down to the team. So now with the team, everything is about consistency. So now this is what we do consistently. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we do. And I feel like Tom Thibodeau is the kind of guy that needs practices before he introduces something really new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So I feel like, you know, if he felt like there was a wrinkle there that he could do, he would wait until they get a week off where they can get 3 or 4 practices in and then look at this wrinkle and then now do it. I don't see Tom Thibodeau being the type of guy that says, you know what? Let's see if we can get Quentin Grimes in this screen and roll real quick, because he's afraid it's going to send everybody haywire and they're not going to know where they are and what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and,
I hear you.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that it's right. That's who I see Tom Thibodeau being.
Yeah.
What up,
I
Spree?
know.
I do say if Tibbs is gonna do that, you may see it coming out of a timeout. You know what I mean? As an isolated play, as opposed to like something called in the middle of the game.
Right.
Yeah, maybe Johnny Bryant's in his ear. I don't know. I just look. I understand with the RJ out, we're missing a little more of that unpredictability. I just thought a little. It was too. Look, as great as Jalen Brunson was playing, they load up and they. Obviously, you want Brunson to search out when they do the pick and roll to get the matchup. But when they load up and double and they shove them in the scorer's table, and I got no off-ball movement, everybody's just watching Jalen do that. Everybody's just watching IQ when he does the same thing, and they load up. Milwaukee's got a good defense. They have good defensive players. Holiday's a very good defensive player. Right now, I think the offense in certain stretches of that game tonight, Tim, I felt like we didn't have the people were just standing and watching, and I felt we were a little too predictable what we were doing.
Yeah. You know, that's part of the issue when you get a guy that's dropping 44 and it's just hot, you know, and then you're like, well, you know, we're going to juice this guy for everything he got, but then people stand around and watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People stand around and watch.
And that was the total opposite of the Milwaukee Bucks. That's why they got a lot of loose balls and offensive rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
We watching and their supporting cast, they making hustle plays
right
for second chance points.
Right. And when you look at the Bucks tonight, you look at the Knicks, they had 3 guys in double digits. Right? Obviously, Julius Randle with 25, Brunson with 44, and Emmanuel Quickly with 23. When you look at the Bucks, the scoring was spread around with Giannis, 22. Brook Lopez, 17. Grayson Allen, 11. Pat Connaughton, 11. Drew Holiday, 15. Bobby Portis, 10. Joe Ingles, 17. I mean, that's, the ball was spread around to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They had like 27 assists tonight. You know what I mean? And so even during the mist when the Knicks have a lead, again, if you want to point to something as to why maybe this lead dissipated and it clearly went away, you got 3 guys scoring the basketball versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys scoring the basketball.
Right.
Eventually, one of your guys is going to go cold.
Down.
You wear down, you get
Well,
tired,
you
and
also you're going to wear down a
yeah,
little bit.
you know what I mean.
I just look. I love Jalen. I love what he did. I mean, he's a great player. I just against we're not talking about the Detroit Pistons. We're not talking about the Houston Rockets. There's a level of competition up when you're playing these better teams. When they try, because now they're going to load up on Brunson because of his All-Star year. They look at Randall and they can't fool around with Randall because of how hard he's playing. And we just need the other guys to get a good feel for the rock, get the off-ball movement, or maybe let Grimes do a pick and roll or off-ball. We need RJ back too. I've been hard on RJ, but I need RJ back. RJ does have a skill set that we could use here. We can use all of our players' skill sets, but this was frustrating. Did you have a problem with Fournier being in there long, or he just Grimes needed some rest?
I think this was Tom Thibodeau trying to, give Grimes a little bit of rest. And plus, Grimes wasn't really playing well. I mean, obviously, defensively, he does what he does, but he wasn't really playing well. So
I agree. I agree with you guys. I heard you were like, I would have put in Jericho Sims. I really would have. I didn't like Hartenstein in this game, but
yeah,
I don't know. We got to beat the Pacers, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you got to beat the Pacers now because the Pacers now have a full game lead over the Knicks in the standings.
Which means we could tie it up and take the lead.
Exactly. If we win that game, can tie it up and take the lead, because the Pacers don't play between now and then. Right? So the Knicks and Pacers play each other next. And if the Knicks win, I don't know how many other times they play during the season, but if the Knicks win this game, they either win the series or they guarantee a tie. And the Knicks would be 23-19. The Pacers would be 23-19, and the Knicks would have the 6th spot. If the Knicks would have won tonight, then, they would have had the 6th spot and had a chance to go one full game ahead of Indiana in the next game. But now, here it is. The Knicks are currently in the 7th spot and just one game above the Miami Heat, who is starting to turn it on just a little bit.
Sam, one last question before I let you go. I promise it's the last question.
Mm-hmm.
When we go up against a really good defensive team, I don't know how many there are in the NBA. I respect Milwaukee's defensive players because the coach is saying load up on Jalen. We're not letting him kill us, even though he gave us 44. Load up on Randall. And to be fair to Randall, he got a lot of open threes early in the game. I mean, it's not like they were contested. They were open. My question to you is, who do you trust to move the ball? Do you trust Tibbs is not the greatest offensive coach. Can Johnny Bryant get in his ear to get us the movement? Who on the court besides Brunson? Randall's been making the right play all year, but I'm just talking about, I feel like this offense still is missing another little piece when we go up against the really good defensive teams. I'm not saying it's leadership. I don't know. It's just moving that extra needle to just make teams pay. But we need RJ back. I got nothing. I'm just trying to think about what we can do against these better defensive teams because I want to win the championship. But you have a good one.
I appreciate you, Spree. I appreciate it.
All right, man.
Against the better defensive teams, here's the thing. Against your better defensive teams, it's funny. You can talk about ball movement and all of that stuff, but against your better defensive teams, that's when you need guys that can score on their own a little bit, right? Because your better defensive teams are going to shut off the ball movement. They're going to cut down people from cutting to the lane and all of those things, and you need the people that could score. You got to have a good mixture of both. You know what I mean? And the Knicks, they'll have nights where they are moving the ball really, really well, and then they'll have nights when it's more isolation. They haven't found that happy medium, I don't think. You'll see some nights when they find that happy medium, but it's not consistent. And then when you got guys, though, and here it is again, when you got guys that aren't hitting shots, which one comes first? Are they not hitting shots because the ball's not moving? Or is the ball not moving because these other guys aren't hitting shots? You know what I mean? They work with each other. They work hand in hand.
I think more times than not, they're not hitting shots because, granted, Barrett, Randall, Brunson, they're creating their own shots, but they're also creating for others. You know what I mean? So those are your opportunities when those guys you know what I mean, are creating for you. And that, I mean, obviously that limits our assists per game,
Right.
but I don't know.
It's, I mean, you look first quarter. The Knicks shot 24% from the field in the first quarter. Right? Is it because shots weren't falling? I mean, is it because the Knicks weren't moving the ball, or were the Knicks moving the ball because guys weren't hitting shots? You know what I mean? Second quarter, the Knicks shot 45.8% from the field. All right, so they shot better, 4 assists in that second quarter. Right? Again, did they start hitting shots because they moved the ball, or did guys start hitting shots and then you see more assists and so on and so forth? It's always hard to say which one comes first when you're looking at a basketball team. You know what I mean? I don't know, but Knicks take a 4-point loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. Do you look at it? We were talking about playoffs before, Tony. Do you look at this and say, man, if we face the Bucks in the playoffs, maybe we can win some games?
I mean, it does, but I already felt that way, so I won't say this game. I mean,
I remember the other day you were talking about that.
Yeah, it makes me feel it a little bit more, if you will.
Mm-hmm. They would have to figure out how to get over the top. The Bucks got a lot of answers, man. You know what I mean? Drew Holiday wasn't really hot all game long. He didn't hit a 3 until crunch time.
And actually, Sim, let me backpedal and walk that back, because honestly, I never had Ingles in the equation prior to tonight. I forgot he was on the team.
Right.
So now I got to reevaluate, his addition plus when Middleton comes back.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that, in that third quarter, I'm like, oh, they gonna be tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Middleton gets back.
Yeah. I mean, when we were doing the game preview, especially their bench, when you look at other teams' bench, well, okay, when you look at the Knicks bench, I mean, their bench is, they got a grizzled veteran bench that knows how to get it done. And you can plug one of those guys into the starting lineup and they'd be able to produce, if somebody's injured, the way that they're doing now. I mean, they've got a lot of talent from the top to bottom on that basketball team, where, the Knicks have talent in the first unit, still not as much talent as the Bucks have in their first unit. And then the Knicks bench, once RJ comes back, Quickly's on the bench, he can score, but who else can actually get you a bucket when you need one on the bench? You know what I mean? And then you got some young guys that are learning the process of the NBA. And I'm not saying go out and just grab you a vet, or grab you a bunch of vets to put on your bench. I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing it out when you're facing the Bucks. I mean, the Knicks have a young bench that's learning and growing. I mean, now, do they have room for one veteran? Maybe so.
I was gonna say we could use one though. You know what I mean? We could use one.
Man, they got room for one, and you can still have the young guys playing. They got room for one.
Shoot.
So, this the growing process of a team, man. The growing process of a team. I mean, although I'm upset at the loss, and I'm tired of the Knicks giving away these leads, right? You can see, though, the process of this team and that they're building something. They are building something, and they got to battle through these things in order to become that grizzled team, like I said before, that battle-tested team that understands how to win these games. They got to battle through it.
The only thing that worries me, Sim, is through 3 quarters, I could look at the team and look at the game and feel like what you were saying. They building something. They believe. They finally they look a little different. Like they believe in each other. You know what I mean? We could be anybody type. That energy did shift a little bit.
Yeah.
In the fourth, you know what I mean, as the game dwindled. and not with everybody. And I'm not going to point individuals out either, because I think it was more than just one person. But that's what worries me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but
Like,
it's like you
is
played.
it putting too much on Brunson's shoulder? Because he's one guy that obviously didn't look like his mentality shifted. You know what I mean? But is it too much to be like, all right, we gotta, you know what I mean? We gotta go through him in these moments,
But
especially if it's a long
yeah,
moment.
I mean,
8 minutes left.
you gotta have guys, because like in these moments right now, sometimes Julius Randle is not sure what his role is sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so these are some things that guys got to figure out so that Brunson can have support in those moments. Because if you look tonight, Randle is, a little tentative in these moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And not exactly sure, should I be shooting it, or what he should be doing sometimes
And
in
I
those
think part
moments.
of that goes to the fact that he wasn't having a good shooting game. So
True.
it makes you question even more.
True.
You know, if he was having a good game, I think he takes initiative a little bit more, as opposed to like, oh, should I shoot it? I'm not shooting well.
Yeah.
But
I mean, even that though, to me, comes down to indecisiveness a little bit, indecisiveness, not sure of his role. Because if that was Kawhi Leonard, right? Bad shooting night all night long. Oh, but you know what? It's time for me to get busy. I'm gonna go and try to create some havoc. And even if I'm creating for someone else, or I'm attracting the defense, but I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm not gonna be indecisive. You know what I mean? I think he's in that area. He's sometimes in the area where he's just not sure. Okay, I'm not hitting. So should I be aggressive or should I not be aggressive? Because I'm not hitting. You know what I mean? And that's all. But that's the growth of a player too.
mm-hmm.
Understanding and figuring out the growth of a player and also the growth of a team, figuring out how do they win in those situations. Now, when you got a 17-point lead, the hope is that you can keep the lead. You know what I mean? But, I do notice just a little bit of shakiness in those situations with Julius Randle, and what his role should be.
I wanted a situation like this. Obviously, I just wanted the victory to come with it. Like, because like you said, I think this does build character, and the more they go through it, especially while they not sinking, you know what I mean? Like, they just got off a 5-game losing streak. That was the biggest losing streak of the season for them.
Yeah.
For us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So they just literally came off their low, their lowest of lows.
Right.
And bounced right back. So I think it's definitely building character.
Yeah. And Blue Hefner said, I never blame Tibbs for anything. That's not true. But I mean, if you're sitting here and want me to just blame him for this, like every loss that we come on, every loss that happens, everyone points and says that it's Tom Thibodeau. Not everybody. But a lot of people point and say that it's Tom Thibodeau. We're talking about things that happen during the game. We're talking about players and their mindset. You know what I'm saying? And what their roles are, and if they're figuring out their roles. That's what we're talking about right now. You know what I mean? So if you want me to say, oh, Tom Thibodeau didn't tell Julius Randle that he could shoot even if he's not hitting, that's what you want me to say? You want me to say, oh, Julius Randle wasn't hitting, so he shouldn't have put him back in the game when Giannis came in. Is that what you want me to say? Because if that's what you want me to say, I'm not going to say that, because who else you putting in? Obi? Keeping Obi out there? You know what I'm saying?
And I attribute Obi's minutes to him just coming back, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? So let's you know what I mean? Let's not divide.
That's what I'm saying.
Figure out how we could fix it, and how we could get over
you
this
played a championship level team. You had a 17-point lead, and you didn't finish. That's the bottom line, and it's everybody on the team. It's everyone's fault that they didn't finish, not just Tom Thibodeau or Randle or Brunson or whoever else was out there playing. The entire team didn't figure it out. So we're talking about the entire team, Blue. That's all I'm saying. But getting back to what I was trying to say, you know how when you play like a video game, Tony, or you play chess, and if you play online, you can play at different ratings, right? And if you try to step up a rating, it's tough, and you might play tough the entire game, then you make one little mistake, and your opponent eats you alive. Or if you're playing the computer, the computer knows every single move anyway, right? They eat you alive, and because you made one mistake, but you keep playing tough. Next thing you know, you're getting to a point where, oh, all right, and because you grow, you get better, you get smarter, right? You learn more strategy, and now you can get past this. You can get past this rating. You know what I'm saying? And then you can step up to another rating. Is it like that with the Knicks right now, where they're figuring out how to step up in level and defeat teams that are on a higher level? You know what I mean? Or figuring out how to play in certain moments, right? So like a video game, you know what I mean? You get to a certain level, you might not be able to beat it, but you keep playing, you keep going, you keep battling, and then all of a sudden you get past that level.
That's
what I mean?
exactly the analogy. I was gonna change the analogy to exactly that. I attribute it more to when you know what I mean, you finally get to level 6, you know what I mean? But there's this one part of level 6 you just can't beat. You
Right.
know what I mean? So you just keep trying, basically.
You
Keep trying.
you keep going.
Eventually you figure it out. You know what I mean? You call one of your friends, oh, how'd you beat that level? Like, what'd you do at that part when you got to the
Right.
bridge? You know?
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? And,
So-
and it's almost like this with this team right now. Trying to figure out certain levels and how to get past those levels, and we'll see if they can do it or not. You know what I mean? Let me get to a phone call here. Caller, you're live.
Pardon me 1 second.
Yes, sir. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Brother Tim, Brother Tony, this is Trey calling from Baltimore, man. Appreciate you taking this phone call, man. And you guys do some great work out there, man. Just a couple comments that I got on the game. And I think to an earlier caller's point in regards to the minutes that that Thibodeau was giving these guys. I mean, you're talking 40 minutes for Randall, 43 for, IQ. Brunson's out there almost 40 minutes, and some of the other guys. I mean, when you dig into this bench and, the highest minutes for one of these players off the bench is 15 minutes, I think that's a big issue. And I think that that's a reason for some of these late game collapses. I mean, now some of these games we've won, but you could still kind of see it in these fourth quarters where, they blow these big leads. And so I think moving forward, once we get RJ back in the rotation, and I know Obi came back tonight, I think Thibodeau is going to have to stretch this bench a little bit more. I mean, he's going to have to lighten the minutes on some of these starters because you could see it. I mean, it's clear in the stats, and it's clear when you watch these guys on the court.
Yeah, but I think that's the key right there, getting RJ back, because you get RJ back, and now quickly goes back to the bench, and you just have more flexibility in your lineup, right? Because
Right.
RJ can play the 3, the 4, or the 2, from depending on what the lineup is like, and then you got Obi back, so now your flexibility. You get more flexibility, right? Obi will get back in shape. RJ comes back, quickly goes back to the bench. He's able to, hopefully him and Obi can connect the way that they were connecting earlier in the season. You know what I mean? And now you get a little more production from that bench, and now you're playing them a little bit more because they're being productive on the floor. So, yeah, I mean, RJ is a big key. RJ is a big key, I think.
Yeah, and I like how we're competitive against these top Eastern Conference teams. I mean, Milwaukee, and I know they're missing Chris Middleton, but the fact that in 3 of these games, I mean, we've kept them close. I think it's a good sign. Like you said, we get RJ back, it starts to strengthen this rotation a lot better. I wanted to make one other point from tonight's game. That corner, I mean, we were just giving up corner threes, late in the game. I mean, I think Brook Lopez had a couple. Connaughton had a couple from that same spot. They just was killing us from that same corner. I thought at one point they really didn't have to double Giannis. What do you think about that? Because I thought that, while they was hot from three for a stretch, they should have just played one-on-one with these guys.
Yeah. We were talking about it in the game preview that you got to throw different coverages at Giannis, and one of them could be single coverage. If he's, if Randall, who, was playing well defensively, if Randall was handling them for a little while, maybe you do say, you know what, they're knocking down threes. Let's go back to, no double team. And if he starts balling out, then we go back to it, just throwing different coverages out there, because guys were getting open and knocking down threes, especially in that fourth quarter down the stretch. You know what I mean? They started to get hot and knock down threes. Drew Holiday hit his first three down the stretch.
Yeah, had back-to-back threes.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's tough when you're playing a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, man, because they just got weapons from all over the place. And when you look at, look at the guys that you named, right? Drew Holiday, Pat Connaughton, Joe Ingles. Like, these guys have been playing in the league for a while and just understand how to handle certain situations.
Yeah.
Not going to panic.
Right.
Going to be calm. Going to be cool. And so when they get in that situation, I mean, any person, if you look at who the Milwaukee Bucks have, regardless of Giannis, take Giannis out the equation. You look at who the Milwaukee Bucks have and who the Knicks have, and you say, okay, who's going to get it done down the clutch? You would look and say, oh, Milwaukee, they got some guys down there. With George Hill, Bobby Portis, it's like they got some grizzled guys down there, and the Knicks are learning that. Now, when you got a 17-point lead, you got to be able to protect that cushion, man.
Yeah. For the most part, those guys understand their roles, too. I think that's one thing. I mean, other than Grayson Allen trying to, take the ball up the court, I mean, for the most part, those role players from Milwaukee, they know their roles. That's why it makes so much of a difference.
Nah, no doubt about it. They do. And when guys know their roles, it's just makes it so much easier to be able to play. Because you're not thinking about your role. You're just playing your role. You're just reacting, and you're reacting within your role. You know what I mean? When you don't know your role, you're not exactly sure what you should be doing. Now you're thinking on the court. Now you're indecisive. You know what I mean? And once you become indecisive, it's tough then. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to do anything once you become indecisive. I mean, because then you're in between making this decision, that decision, and the opposing team just capitalizes on that.
Right. Hey, Sam, one more question for you, then I got to roll. You guys are having an event. You guys are meeting up for the Wizards game this Friday night, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be seated right behind the Wizards bench, actually. I understand you guys are going to be in section 113. Is that... I don't know if that's going to be behind the home team or the road team.
It's a different section. It's actually going to be 213, I think it is, behind on the Wizard side.
On the Wizard side?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, certainly would love to, come by and meet you guys.
Yeah,
you guys have
man.
like some post-game activities and stuff.
We're going to talk with the group of people that are attending. And, see if we can do some stuff to get together before and after the game. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what's up, man. Can't wait to meet you guys.
Yeah, definitely, man. Looking forward to it.
No doubt. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too, my brother.
Likewise.
All right, peace.
All
right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's listen to Tom Thibodeau. See what Tom Thibodeau has to say about the game, what his thoughts are. And then we'll, get a chance to listen to Brunson and listen to Julius Randle and all that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom Thibodeau.
What did you see during that stretch that led him back in the game?
I think we broke the lineup at about 5. of the third, and we didn't close the third out well. And then the start of the fourth, same thing. So that was probably the biggest thing.
It looked like there was some good defensive possessions, but second chances seemed like they were killing you guys for a little while there.
Yeah, and we knew that was one of their strengths. We thought the rebounding was going to be a huge factor in the game. I thought we did a good job ourselves on the offensive boards, but they had timely ones. I thought the threes that Holiday hit on us, and he's a big shot maker, and so I want to get a look at that to see what went down on those plays. So, and then, they made threes. I thought we loaded up pretty good on Giannis, which is the challenge. And then you have to get in and you have to get out. So I want to see what that looked like in terms of challenging their threes. And then some I thought were contested very well, and they made. I thought Ingles hurt us off the bench. I thought Portis hurt us. So we'll take a look at what happened with the bench.
Coach, defensively there, and speaking of Ingles, it seemed like, and specifically in the second half, it felt like every shot they were making was a three. Giannis or Drew would back down in the post, and then you guys would send help either from the weak side corner at the top of the key, and that's where those open threes came from. Was there something you tried adjusting schematically mid-game?
No. And some of it was, some game plan stuff that, we have to square away. So, and we'll take a look at, the ones that, where we did what we were supposed to do, but there was a few that were created because of overhelp that shouldn't have happened.
You say a couple of them, it looked like it was almost one pass and an open three. They didn't have to move the ball a lot.
Well, they trusted the pass, and I think that's, there were a couple times in the first half where they caught us in transition in the post, and we were slow getting back, so we had bad matchups. And then we had to overreact and help. But we have to be disciplined. We have to follow the plan. And the ones that we could avoid where we could be better, we have to take a look at that.
You guys didn't have any assists in the first quarter. What did you make of the start?
Yeah, and I thought, and their defense is excellent. So you give credit to their defense. With Holiday and then the 2 7-footers, protecting the rim, they do a good job. But I thought we moved the ball, and I thought we missed some open shots. So I want to take a look at that, and then we got to trust the pass, continue to trust the pass. Probably, if we had gotten more easy buckets in transition, that would have helped as well. But I like the way we attack the rim, and sometimes you get the calls, sometimes you don't, but we got to keep going.
Coach, as you said, you loaded up on Giannis, but can you talk about Julius specifically and his phicality and it also turning him into a player?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, Julius gives you a great effort, and that's a tough matchup, and it's not only with Giannis, because the first part is obviously the transition, then there's the isolation, then there's the pick and roll. Then there's the inverted pick and roll. Then there's the dribble handoff. There's a lot of different things that you have to guard with him. And then there's the 4-5 pick and roll as well. So, and that's a lot. So that's a lot of action, a lot of work that you're putting into it. And Mitch, they go back and forth. Mitch guards him at times, and then Julius guards him at times. But that's what I love about Julius: take on the challenge and play as hard as you can, and that's what he did, and we fell short in the end.
Julius has been so good offensively for you guys lately, and just a night where it's not falling.
Yeah, there's 82 games. You're not going to shoot a grade every night, and I thought he adjusted. I thought he was attacking the rim. I thought he could have got to the line more than he did, but I'll take a look at the film, but it looked like he was attacking the rim pretty good to me.
Well, you got the obligatory, I'll take a look at the film, and I think most people knew he was probably going to say that. That's Tom.
If I had $1 for every time he said, I got to look at the film,
That's Tom Thibodeau's favorite line. You know what I mean? Got to look at the film. But I don't think he said anything there that we probably didn't know he was going to say. Let's hear Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. And then, we'll go on and finish this up. This is Julius Randle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's Mr. Make League, man. And the same shots I've practiced and put thousands and thousands of hours in. So I'm not really worried about it. They'll go in next game.
You look like second half, much more aggressive, going to the rim, being around the rim.
Just kind of cutting off with Jalen, playing a little bit faster, transition, getting on the offensive glass, stuff like that.
The shots that Drew made in the last few minutes, just how tough are those to kind of guard against a guy like that?
Yeah, I think QG did a great job of playing them. Those are shots that I've seen Drew make many times, so it was great looks by him.
Defensively, you and Mitch, I guess, combined, did a pretty good job on Giannis, as good as anybody can do right now. Kind of feel like you guys did what you wanted on that end with him.
He's a great player, and it requires our whole team to be able to slow him down. And everybody did a great job of helping out, and individually just try to take the challenge and make it difficult.
Saw a championship team just grind us down, chipping away, and we didn't hold up enough resistance to keep that lead. So just gotta give them credit. Now we gotta be better, but we gotta give them credit as well.
It seems so uncharacteristic of you guys early. Julius has been carrying you guys a lot early and struggled today, and no assists as a team in the first quarter, and it still came out of the tie. You kind of feel like, despite things, you were hanging around.
Yeah, obviously we all could have played a lot better. I think end of it for me, like a couple plays in the fourth quarter that were just terrible. I had a turnover past Obi, and then I had a turnover the next possession dribbling into Drew, and then took a bad shot over Drew in the right baseline, and then I think before that I just had a terrible pull-up three and a pick and roll. So those are 4 possessions where I wish I could have had back. But it's just, we got to continue to grind and get better. And now we got to learn from this. I got to learn from this, and I got to treat possessions like they mean the world to me. I can't just have those mistakes.
You're picking out 4 bad possessions, but your career high
wasn't enough, so it doesn't really matter to me. It's just the way that everything just played out. I just knew I could have been better, could have been more efficient. So that's all. That's how I'm looking at it.
Third, Milwaukee.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing that you listen to, man, with Jalen Brunson, he always takes it back to himself. You know what I mean? Accountability. He always goes back to, I don't like the way I did this. I don't like the way I did that. Blah, 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 blah. Always, takes it back to himself. You gotta love that about him. You know what I mean? He always looks at himself first to see, what he could have done better.
And what's genuine about it? He'll point it out specifically.
Exactly.
It was 4 plays. I took a bad shot here, a turnover here. Could have got a better look on that one. Like, you gotta love it.
Yeah, you do. You gotta love when he does that. You seen on the screen, Julius Randle, 29 shot attempts. Jalen Brunson, 30 shot attempts. It's been a lot of shot attempts for Julius Randle over the last 10 to 15 games. A lot of shot attempts. If you look at it over the last 10 to 15 games, he's probably somewhere around 24, 25 shot attempts. From the time that RJ's been out. Is it just the fact that RJ is out, so there's more shots to be spread around between him and Brunson? Or are you worried about this being, even when RJ gets back, this being what he does, how he shoots?
I'm not worried about it when RJ gets back. I think it'll tamper down to about 20, just around 20 for all of them, RJ included.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which is still a jump. I think they was around 17, 18 earlier in the season. I guess I would like to, and Queen, shout out to Queen, she brought it up a while ago, the ball movement. I think they got to figure out a better way to play off of each other, the three of them, as opposed to the isolation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys know you could do the isolation and incorporate. I think the ball movement only helps. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really find times for that isolation, and maybe Randall, you get the first quarter. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get your isolation moments, whatever. Brunson, obviously, you close out in the isolation when needed. RJ in the middle. I think that's kind of what they've been doing, but they got to figure out how to get the other people involved a little bit more with them.
Yeah. Nah, I get it. Right on. And I don't know, I mean, I would have to break that down to scheme. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't look like it's in their offensive sets that they play off of one another. Now that you got to point to Tom Thibodeau, right? They don't play a lot off of one another. Randall and RJ rarely play off of one another. I mean, we've seen a couple of times where they swing the ball to each other, but you don't see a Randall and RJ screen and roll. You know what I mean?
Most of the time they work together. It's for a switch that they're trying to manipulate.
Right. But on the offensive side, they don't. You'll get, Randall hands it off to RJ, sets the screen for RJ, and then RJ can penetrate down the left side, right? Or penetrate going left. So you see that frequently. You rarely see Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson screen and roll. You know what I mean? You'll see Jalen Brunson. You'll see Randle hand the ball off to Brunson and then go into the post, and then Brunson get him the ball in the post. Same thing with RJ Barrett, right? Hand the ball off to RJ and then go down into the post and then give him the ball in the post. It would be nice to see them play off of each other a little bit more, play with each other a little bit more. You know what I mean? Those are your three biggest threats. So you would think that if you have three threats on the floor that can all handle the ball a little bit, you'd be able to get some success using them, playing them together. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see if that is something that grows. But right now, it doesn't seem to be in their scheme. You know what I mean? And within their offensive sets. We'll see if it's something that grows as time ticks on. Probably not this season. You know what I mean? Probably not this season. But anyway, the Knicks take the loss, ladies and gentlemen, to the Milwaukee Bucks, 111-107. In a tight game down the stretch, but the Knicks had a big lead and they couldn't pull the game out. They blew the lead, and they are now 22-19, 3 games above 500, 7th place in the Eastern Conference, 1 game above the Miami Heat, 1 game below the Indiana Pacers, and they take on the Indiana Pacers next. And we'll see. They take on the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if they can, if they win, they beat the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday, then the Knicks will be back in that 6th spot.
That's why I said it earlier. Regardless of what happens today, that Pacer game is the more important game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this might be a measuring stick. This might be something where we could kind of see where we are. But the real important game is the next one. So let's try to and it becomes a little bit more important after the loss. So
right, no doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, and then on Friday, the Knicks take on the Washington Wizards in Washington, D.C.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. So if you want to join us, ladies and gentlemen, this will be your last chance to try to lock down a ticket. All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat where you can get you a ticket and join us. If you are in the D.C. area, make sure you join us. All right.
Or if you're going to take the trip like me.
Or if you're going to take the trip, no doubt about it. Take the trip. You know what I mean? It'd be well worth it. We're gonna have a good time. Putting the link in the chat right now. It's nbkfam.com/nbk events. All right, put the link in the chat. You can click on that and you can go get your tickets, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and maybe it didn't go in there right. If it didn't go in there right, I'll make sure that I put it in there. Now, Tony, anything that you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, just always a pleasure sharing the screen with you. Shout out to the chat. Oh, wait, I had a did you see the post I highlighted?
No, I didn't.
B-Boy, I don't know where it went, but B-Boy for real, he said I'm stealing his takes or whatever. I didn't see what you said that I said as well, but if you super chat it, you know what I mean, it'll be highlighted and then I could see.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
do
can
that.
see it. But shout out to the chat. Your Blackest Time, you know.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And I just put that link in the chat one more time to make sure that you can access it, ladies and gentlemen. Put it in there a couple more times. Join us in DC. It'd be dope, man. It's just gonna be a few of us there. Just gonna be a few of us there. We're gonna have a good time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Let's see if the Knicks can get this one on Wednesday and get back into that 6th spot in the Eastern Conference, pull back to 4 games above 500 and all that good stuff. I'll probably see you sometime tomorrow, either a pre-recorded video or something live. I guess we'll see, how the day goes. I do have a game tomorrow. I got to get there kind of early, but expect something tomorrow. Anyway, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. The link is in the description of the video. It's also in the YouTube chat if you want to get those tickets to the game in DC. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.